Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have the Plausible Impossible. This is a special episode of the magical world of Disney. Yeah, Disney. The magical world of Disney. Not the magical world of Walt Disney, but Walt Disney is the host. So it's all over the place. It seems like it's in color at one point. It's in black and white. There's full color animation. There's black and white animation. There's live action mixed with animation, all over the place. This one is definitely all about what goes into making the cartoons, the animated features, all the things that Disney made its brand on, how it all comes together, and how we make things that seem impossible seem like it doesn't freak us out. Like it's when somebody pulls on the tail of a cow to ring its bell. Well, it doesn't seem likely that you could do that, but here we just give it a tug, and by the use of the spine and the back of the cow, well, you might imagine that the cow would maybe stretch or compact and the bell would ring, and it's actually a lot of theoretical animation science. I don't know. I don't know how we want to call this, because they don't necessarily just talk about the pictures, about how the layers, the cells, and the artistry is put together, but they talk about the sound effects, the dialogue, the let's say just the music. It's the sound, it's pictures, and it's all put together to make something more magical than you can possibly imagine. Well, it's a plausible impossibility. And Walt does a pretty good job of just walking us through this. This thing premiered, it's 52 minutes long, by the way. It premiered in 1956 as part of the Magical World of Disney from 1954 to 1997. What? Okay, sure. I think this might have been available as a single thing that you might have been able to buy like on VHS or DVD at one point. I'm not really sure. Just the way some of the graphics appeared seemed kind of strange. But yeah, this is right in the smack in the dab in the middle of the era of Disneyland. So Disneyland had opened maybe a year before, and this is just Walt's weekly communication with the fans to say, hey, this is how you make cartoons. This is how you give Donald, he puts Donald through his paces, of course, abuses him as you can a cartoon character for humor's sake, but not like abuse. Because you know how it is with cartoon characters; they always snap back. They're all very good about this. Also, Mickey. We see Mickey in a short that is sort of a take on Alice in Wonderland. We see another cartoon where Donald is visited by his cousin and eats him out of house and home, basically. We see snippets from Fantasia. We see a whole sequence, I forget the name of the musician, the person who makes the music for the Night on Bald Mountain. You see that entire sequence. A lot of this, it may sound dry to have Walt try to explain to us how animation works and why it does this and why we believe that cartoon characters can do this when we know that reality isn't. I know that doesn't sound like something sometimes we just take for granted. We don't really think about how Donald can have a safe dropped on him. You pick it up and he's perfectly fine. He just looks like an accordion, and then he pops himself out back to normal. It doesn't sound like something that could be real. If it was happening in real life, we'd think, oh, that poor person is dead or severely injured. So we have different reactions when it comes to cartoons, but we have to, when they craft these things, they do it in a way that it feels more real. It feels plausible, even though it's impossible. So it's educational. Two, it's the kind of thing that if you're an artist or you want to be an animator, if you're a kid, especially, or some adults too, if you want to be an animator, this is like the ground floor to understand how these things work. And yes, different artists, different studios, different companies have all done these in different ways. The look of, say, Charlie Brown cartoons at Christmas time, or whatever season, is different than Donald Duck, or different than Rugrats, or anything you see on Adult Swim. There's so many different ways of doing these things, but there are rules. There are rules, and those rules are meant to be broken, but they also come across. It's sort of an unspoken rule that you have to make the impossible somewhat plausible in order for us to be entertained and not off-put, I think. So this to me was fascinating. I'm glad I finally got to watch it. I've seen this on the list for so long, and it's finally here. I finally watched it. So yeah, if you're looking for some good Disney moments, it does have a disclaimer at the beginning that tells you that there's some things that have not aged well, and that they were wrong then, they're wrong now. So you have to sit through that just a little bit. I can't really tell which part it was. Maybe it was at the very beginning when Tinkerbell depicts Native Americans as feathers and woo 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 kind of thing. Yeah. Or it was later when there's lots of nipples. Like what happened to our society where we just suddenly at one point after the 1950s became very frightened by nipples in our media? There's a sequence, and it's not gratuitous. It's not sexual in any way. But if you watch the sequence for The Night on Bald Mountain, which is all about the Satan and demonic forces coming down from the mountain to threaten a small village, and then being set back by goodness and whatever. But it's all mostly it's all driven by music, first of all, and I can't remember the musician's name, the composer's name, but yeah, it is. There's lots of animation of different creatures writhing in the fires and everything else. Don't make any phone calls to Walt Disney about his satanic cartoons. The man has died a long time ago, I'm sorry to say. And this was made before most of you were born to complain about it. So just deal with it. But yeah, nipples. That's weird. On women, I'm sorry. Women. Nipples on women. It's in here. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. It's for the Disney fan. If you haven't watched this already, I think some hardcore Disney fans have not watched everything. They've got it all down, memorized, in fact. But this is for the wannabe artist, the wannabe animator, the young one, or somebody who just wants to have greater insight onto how the early days of all this came together. There's even a sequence that was cut from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So that's, to me, it's a really long extended scene about her getting them to wash up and eat their soup, and then they just slurp it. They just slurp it so awful, and she has to sort of like teach them how to eat soup. But I don't know if I can't recall if I've ever seen that before. Yeah, again, whatever was going on in 1952 might have been redone. Like George Lucas likes to add stuff back into his movies or add new stuff. Maybe somebody in Disney decided to make an extended cut of Snow White. I have no idea. Anyway, all that said, we have one more episode to pick for 2024. Here we go. Let's see what we got. 127. What will be the final thing we watch in 2024? In case you don't know, that random number picker, I don't know what I'm going to watch. I'm not pretending and playing along. It all connects to a spreadsheet here that I've made of every single thing that is on Disney Plus. And oh my, we got a short. This is going to be real easy. This won't take long at all to watch. It's not a short. I don't think it's a short because it's one of the Launchpad series. Might be one of the last ones we have yet to watch. So there we go, because I don't see anything else. These are listed alphabetically, so I don't see anything else that says Launchpad. This might be our last of the existing Launchpad series, shorts on Disney Plus. But here we go. Launchpad presents Project CC. See that number right there? At 127? That was the one that was selected, and here we go. That's what we get. I didn't know we were watching that until just now. That's how it's been for 5 years. Except for those, like Christmas episodes that I chose last week and things like that. New releases, those I do choose. But for the most part, everything is random. So that's what we're watching next for the last day for December 31st, 2024. We're going to be watching Launchpad Presents Project CC on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.